What is the holdup? What is the holdup on your financial reporting? Why can't the books get closed at the end of the month? Why don't you have any financial data for 60, 90, never? What is going on that you are not able to get those financial reports on a regular and timely basis after the end of the month? So one of the big reasons that we see is due to accounts payable. Now, there's probably a lot of other different reasons going on, but today I'm going to focus on accounts payable and what that process looks like from a month-end close perspective. And first thing is, how are we getting our invoices and our statements from our vendors? Typically, we are getting them in email, getting them mailed, and maybe getting faxes. I think the only ones using fax anymore is the government. But we should be, even if it's in mail form, then depending on how far away your vendors are, it should be no more than a week after the end of the month. And if it's taking longer than that, it's probably because they really didn't send them out at the end of the month. So they probably waited until the following month to send them out. If you're not getting your vendor invoices until the 15th of the month, it's because they didn't send them out on time. So first thing that we want to do, my first recommendation to you to help smooth out this AP process is to get an email account set up if you don't have one already, AP at XYZ Construction, and start having all of your vendors, your suppliers, your subcontractors sending their invoices to that email address. If they send something over to a PM or to somebody else, make sure that that person knows that our process now is for all of those to go to this email account. Can you please send that there? So you will get them trained very quickly to be sending invoices through email. You may also send like a little slip out with your payment saying where it needs to be going moving forward. So that's the first thing. And email is instant. So if they are sending out invoices on the last day of the month, you will get that invoice on the last day of the month, at the very latest the next day. So it is cutting down that time from when you are watching and waiting for invoices to come in the door. The second big holdup with accounts payable is now once you receive the invoice from the vendor, from the supplier, you have to get it approved. So it can't just go to the accounting department, get entered into your system, and voila, we're done. It typically goes to a PM or management level for approval. So now what happens here, what we see many times is that this is a paper invoice that got copied somewhere and then got put, maybe it didn't even get copied, but got put on a PM's desk and it's sitting there and there's no tracking, there's no accountability, and we don't know how long it's going to sit there. So we leave our books open, or we say we can't close the books because we don't have all the invoices approved yet. So to cut that down, we need to set up a good approval system for our PMs. And this has to be communicated from the top. So if you are an owner in the business, this needs to come from you, that this is the way things are going to be, and everyone needs to be held accountable to be on the same plan. So the best scenario, the best situation is if you could get that approval process done through your accounting system, where someone is receiving the invoice, they are entering it and coding it from accounting into the accounting system, and then that from there goes off to an approval process with the PM in the system. It notifies the PM that there is an invoice that is waiting for approval. It's already coded there. If it didn't get coded correctly, the PM could make adjustments on that screen or that module, and then it gets sent back to accounting that it's approved. Now, I'm not saying that the payment is approved. I'm saying that the invoice is approved to be entered and it's coded correctly. That would be the best case scenario, the best system to have is if it's all done within your accounting system. Other than that, if it needs to be a paper copy, or if you choose to have it be a paper copy and it's sitting on the project manager's desk, there needs to be a turnaround requirement. So I'm setting this on your desk, I need it turned around within 24 to 48 hours. So this could be a process that you have all the time, because the more accurate live data you can have in your system, the better, the more useful it is. So it could be that you always have this process where they need to turn around approved invoices that quickly. Or it could be something where it's just at the end of the month. Okay, we're mainly talking about end of the month invoices. Things that are coming in on the 29th, 30th, 31st, 1st, and 2nd of the month that need to get approved quickly and get into the system so that we can close the month end. So it might just be communication at that month in time, the expectations at that month in time. Hey, anything on your desk needs to get approved by the 2nd of the month. So that is going to help cut down that problem area. The third thing is, when we're just talking about a month-to-month basis, yes, we want the books to be as accurate as they can. We want the data to be as live as possible. But we don't want a $10 tax adjustment on an invoice holding up our entire month-end close. So if you are seeing that you're having to hold the books open for a long time, or that the excuse or reason that you haven't been able to get financial reports or close the books is because you have incorrect AP invoices, they might not be material invoices. We should probably move forward and go ahead and close the books. If your vendor was the one that messed up the invoice, then that invoice didn't really get to you correctly on that invoice date. So it doesn't need to be in the system yet. You can still have your project managers use it. They can still look at it for job costing, to figure out their WIP, to see where they are, what's still cost to be complete, but it doesn't need to be in your AP numbers to close down the month. So I think that's really important to know as well, is that what we hear from a lot of internal accountants is that they got something from the project manager that was an incorrect invoice 2 months later, so they went back and opened previous periods and put in these invoices, and it messed everything up. Or they knew the project manager was holding on to the invoice, so they left the books open. They did not ever close the books out. And now we are like 6 months and nothing's been closed. So what we want to do, and the reason why we have these recommendations, is because the quicker that you can have financial data, the quicker that you can make decisions. So the sooner that your books are closed, the sooner that you have financial results, the sooner that you're able to identify problems, the quicker you can fix them. If you're never looking at your financial data, if your books are never closed, or they're taking 60 plus 90 days, that's 2 or 3 additional months that these problems are going on, and you're not able to address them because you haven't seen it. You didn't know it existed. So we want to increase this AP process, not let this be the bottleneck for why our books can't be closed. So again, my main recommendations are: get a system to where vendors and suppliers and subcontractors are emailing over those invoices to an AP email address. Not someone's name, not an individual. If you have a turnover, if you have someone sick, if you have anything happen, they were out for COVID for 3 weeks, you need someone else to be able to access that email. So it needs to be specific to the accounts payable department. Then set up a good, quick system for invoice approvals, whether that is through your accounting system, project management software, whether that is a timeline and expectations on the project manager of how they need to be turning those around, whatever it may be. Make sure that you have a good, solid system in place that everyone agrees on. And 3 was not sweating the minor things. Okay, not holding things up and looking at keeping the books open for immaterial amounts and situations. So knowing that we can move forward, we can close the books that can get entered in the next month and it won't make or break us. Now, there's a difference between closing the month books and closing the year books. And so at year end, we're going to leave it open a little bit longer. We're going to make sure things are a little bit more accurate. It's going to be a little bit different of a situation than on a month-to-month basis. But on a month-to-month basis, it should be a pretty quick, smooth transition to month-end close. Perfect situation. And what I like to see happen is closing the books by the 3rd business day. It's a little aggressive for a lot of people. But by the 3rd business day, sometimes that's the 5th day of the month, you should have all the invoices in. You should be able to have them coded and done to where that next day you should be able to start your reconciliations. If that is too aggressive for you, maybe you do 5 business days. That gives you a solid week to make sure everything is in and approved. So figure out what that timeline needs to look like. It should be no longer than 2 weeks. There is no reason that you should leave the books open any longer than 2 weeks. And if there is a reason, let me know. Send me over a comment. Teach me something new. Give me an argument. I would love to hear, not an argument like we're going to argue about it, but just I'd love to hear maybe why I am in the wrong on that, and if there's something that I haven't been thinking of as to why the books would need to stay open longer. So that is my recommendations for AP. I hope you're able to go back and kind of review your process and make sure that it's really streamlined so it can help you close the books and you can have good financial reporting. So have a great day, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.